Welcome to Season 2 of The Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Barry with The Biz Show. Just wanted to let you know that Lisa will not be with us this episode. She is feeling ill and under the weather. Unfortunately, she has caught the bug that a lot of us have caught, including myself. I had it a couple weeks back, and it's made the rounds over to her. I did not give it to her, but nonetheless, she has it, so here we are. This is actually our final episode of Season 2, episode 30. And we wanted to talk really about, and we mentioned this last week during the podcast, of, what this podcast would be, and basically about generating leads and how to turn those leads into customers. Basically from clicks to clients, right? And how you can convert those from one to the other. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First, let's kind of just preface, I'm sure everybody knows this, but what is a lead, right? A person who's expressed interest in your product or service. Plain and simple. Now, they've expressed interest. That's all they've done at this point, right? So generating leads is different from generating traffic and then followers or customers, right? Generating lead is just somebody who's expressed interest. They want to know more. And now comes the hard part of educating them on what your product or service is and qualifying them and nurturing them into becoming a buying customer. So there's a framework involved. There's a 4-part framework to generate and convert leads. And, I'll go through those one by one here and the steps and kind of what they entail and maybe some resources that you can use to help in that aspect. The first one is building a magnetic lead magnet, right? And basically, what is it? That's a piece of valuable free content offered in exchange for contact information, whether it's a phone number or whether it's an email address, typically both, to tell you the truth, and name, right? So you want to get their name, their email address, and their telephone number. Examples, what's that free content going to be? Well, it could be a free checklist. It might be a short ebook or a guide on how to do something. It might be an attendance to a webinar or a training video. Or it could be a quiz or self-assessment, or maybe even a discount or a free trial. Those are just some examples of what a magnet lead is, right? It's drawing people, right? The magnet part of it's drawing people to whatever you're offering. What what tools can you use to create this? Well, if you're creative, you can use Canva. Canva's, it's got a free version of it. You can use free version to create some brochures, flyers, maybe the quiz, maybe even the short ebook. Also, there's something called Convert Kit, and it has a free plan involved there too. And that can help you actually convert some of your leads as well, or not convert, but get those leads as well. And then there's budget-friendly, budget-friendly tools like Lead Pages, MailerLite, and Beacon, right? A suggestion for you is if you're going to do a magnet lead or a lead magnet, however you want to say, make sure you laser focus that in solving a very specific pain point for your client or customer or potential customer. You want to make sure that it's very, very focused on what their problem is and it can solve the problem. For instance, I have things out there, checklists on if you're moving your office from one location to another location. Right? There's a checklist that we can provide that will go through all the steps you need to do. I've done a lot of project management in the past on moving office locations from one to another. So I've gone through a lot of the heartaches and the bumps and the pains and the pitfalls of locating an office. There's a lot involved. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? So magnet leads. Second one is capturing that lead, right? So how do you capture that lead? Well, there's a couple things, right? There's landing pages, there's pop-ups, and there's embedded forms. And those are just some of the avenues that you can use to capture that lead. Best practices wise is on the forms is keep them short, right? Name and email, phone number. That's all you want to do there on that form, right? All you're trying to do is get information so that you can contact them again and get more information. The next thing is have a compelling CTA. Make sure that there's a way for you to get that. A CTA, is a call to action. Typically a submit button or, click this button to get your free guide, whatever the case might be. Right? And then you want to drive traffic there's organic social media posts, blogs, YouTube, partnerships. You can also, use Instagram and Facebook and Google ads if you want to pay. But, the organic part of it's pretty easy. If you got a good following in social media, you may be able to get to that. Also, don't forget LinkedIn too, right? Post in LinkedIn work pretty well as well. So, in capturing that lead, there's a couple things, right? Google Forms as a tool, and so does MailChimp has a form as well. And then a budget friendly, you're looking at the Convert Kits landing page. That costs a little bit of money, but it's budget friendly. And then there's Unbounce, and then there's Instapage. So there's a couple different things that are available to you, resources from free and to budget friendly. Don't forget when you do these or the people click on it and give you their information, number one, to give them the whatever you promised to give them, and number two, to send them an automated thank you email immediately following their download to set the expectations of a follow-up. And make sure that you put that in that thank you email, is that somebody will follow up with you in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever the case might be, right? Whether it's going to be a phone call, email, or text. That way, there's an expectation. They know something's coming, and they can be ready and prepared for it. The next piece is really, let me get down here for nurture that lead, right? So nurture the lead, right? Now that you've got it in your funnel, in your pipeline, don't ghost them, right? So that happens a lot, right? I see leads come in from clients, or not our clients, but I see clients that have leads coming in, but that they do nothing with them. They sit there. Like maybe, subscribe to our free newsletter, and they've got like 50 emails sitting there of people who subscribe to the free newsletter, but they've never sent a newsletter out, and they've never visited these emails to even know that these people might be interested. So, want to make sure that you nurture those things by, giving them the information that they're looking for. If you're out promising them a newsletter, give them a newsletter, right? In that newsletter, you might offer tips and insights, whatever case might be. You might also introduce products and services, even provide, testimonials and case studies. Always, always, always make sure that you get the CTA, right? Call to action. And try to book an appointment, whether it's a call or a face-to-face appointment, a purchase or a reply. So again, tools would be, again, MailChimp, or is it Brevo? Brevo. They have free versions of tools you can use. Again, Budget friendly would be ConvertKit. There's also Drip. And Lisa and I have talked about drip campaigns before, and I'll briefly mention that. There's also Active Campaign. But speaking of drip campaigns, right? So what is a drip campaign? Just as a recap, it's a marketing campaign where you typically are sending some information out to a potential client, a client, whatever case might be, on a regular basis, right? Just like your coffee pot, it's dripping, dripping coffee into the pot. You want to drip information into your customer about your services, your products, what's going on, maybe sales you have coming up. Maybe there's going to be some limited product down the road that they might need to be aware of, whatever the case might be. Drip campaigns are really good. The best thing and the most important thing for the drip campaign, it keeps you top of mind. All right. So they know every week or whatever the case might be that something's going to come in from you. Now, I can't stress this enough. Number one, make sure that you don't overdo it on the drip campaigns. I've said this many, many times, and I don't like looking at, my email in the morning and seeing, 50 emails from one company. This. Everything seems to be an email they want to send it. Put it one, send it once a week, right? Wrap it all up, send it once a week. I'm okay with once a week. I'm not okay with daily or, twice daily or 5 times daily. That's just too much. I have too much time focused on other things to sit down and go through every single thing. A lot of time what happens is I sit there and I go delete. So do a lot of other people that I know. And, that can just become time consuming, and it just, it's a time warp. It sucks all your time away from the things that you need to be doing with your business and your customers. So use the drip campaigns wisely, right? And really, these things too are also meant to build trust, right? And you're not just always selling something to them. So, those are the 4 main things about the clicks for clients, right? So build a magnet lead generator, if you will. Capture that lead, then nurture that lead. Right? I'm sorry, 3 things, not 4. But let's talk about real quick. Budget wise, let's break that down just for a minute, because budget wise, there's several different budgets. So there's low budget, there's some free things out there, there's low budget, and then there's some friendly budget, right? So, as I mentioned, there are some resources out there. Canva has a 3 version, MailChimp has a 3 version, but they also have low-end budget versions of stuff, right? Canva, things that are under $100 a month. So lead magnets, Canva. Landing pages, ConvertKit or MailChimp. Email nurturing campaigns, MailChimp again. That's really good because in the free version, you can set up a drip campaign and have stuff go out. Now, you have to create those campaigns ahead of time, because all it's going to do is a certain date and time, it's just going to kick it out. So, you want to make sure that you have something ready to go when you want it kicked out, or nothing's going to go. Also, the good thing about, MailChimp and stuff like that is required by email servers and the internet is you got to have an unsubscribe on these emails, right? So people can unsubscribe. And then MailChimp manages that for you. It'll opt them out. You'll still keep the email and their contact info, but they'll opt out of that drip campaign or that email campaign. Also, so social media traffic, you're right. There's organic Instagram and LinkedIn posts, and there's applications out there that can help you create that. And then CRM, we've talked about CRM in the past, and that's probably one of the most powerful tools as a business that you will have, right? People have all heard of Salesforce.com. There's HubSpot. There's Zoho CRM. There's Monday, to name a few. And those are really a repository where you can collect all your customers, all their wants and desires, all their information, any conversations and stuff like that you have with them can be stored in there, and you can go back and follow up. And then you can, through MailChimp and others, connect those into your CRM package, and then have that campaign go through your list of customers in your CRM package. So budget friendly, those probably are going to run you about $250 a month, $100 to $250. And those, funnel tools are like, the lead pages or the click funnels. Email would be Drip or Active Campaign. Paid ads, right? You're going to be, Google AdSense, Meta ads, whatever the case might be for Instagram and Facebook. And then video content and stuff like that. There's Loom plus Zoom that's out there for webinar hosting and things like that. And again, CRM for your there's Pipeline and Zoho and HubSpot, things like that. Let's talk about a real world application, right? And I just learned this the other day, right? I came across, and I thought this was really cool. And I don't know this person, but she is doing exactly the right things when it comes to this whole process of, clicks to customers, right? So Jenny, the marketing coach, she gives away free content calendar templates. Not a big deal, but it's something she gives away for free. And she uses it in conjunction with ConvertKit and sends 5 email sequences to book free discovery calls. And 20% of those leads convert into customers, spending $500 a month with her for her to coach them. In over 3 months, she's generated $15,000 and $75,000 a month in a tool stack. So it's worked very well for her. And those are things that, it's just a real world thing I'm looking at. I'm analyzing it myself, going, hey, this looks like a really cool thing. I need to check it out. So I will keep you posted on that one and let you know how that turns out. Anyway, unfortunately, this podcast is a shorter podcast, only because Lisa's not here. We don't have, the conversations going back and forth with us. So I'm kind of just drilling into all the meat and potatoes of this podcast immediately right away. I didn't make you wait for it. And wanted to make sure that we did get it to you. Nonetheless, there's been a few times podcasts I've had to do them by myself because of scheduling or traveling or sickness. And we apologize for that. It's just, work and business and life gets in the way sometimes. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Please feel free to reach out to Lisa or myself at InvestQuire or at the Facebook group, The Biz Show. We're more than happy to chat with you about your business, about where you're heading, where you want to go, and give you some pointers and head you in the right direction the best that we can. Who knows? Maybe you can help us out and head us in a different direction as well. But we're looking forward to having a conversation with you guys. All right, you guys, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. 98% of our listeners do not subscribe. So if you can subscribe, that'll really help us out a lot. We would appreciate that very much. All right, you guys, have a good one. Thank you. We will see you in season 3. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Biz Show podcast. Subscribe to stay updated and follow Barry and Lisa on Facebook at The Biz Show. Share your comments or suggest specific business topics you'd like to hear. Bye!